look at societal matters and the stand of the law. Today we are taking a bearing from a recent incident where Nigerians have had to witness a surge in criminal activities involving minors, sparkling concerns about the country's approach to juvenile justice. This disturbing case of minors detained for over 3 months, and the Inspector General of Police statement that minors can be arrested and jailed have raised fundamental questions in recent times. Joining me on the program today is a legal practitioner, Barrister Iwu, and together we will be taking a close look at juvenile laws and justice system, trying to balance the punishments and rehabilitation for minors in Nigeria. Thank you so much for joining us on the program today.
Thank you.
So I'm going to start by asking you, you definitely saw the video days before now where we saw a large number of minors being paraded at the court. And, you know, we also heard the Inspector General of Police said that minors can be jailed, which brings us to talking about the juvenile system in Nigeria.
Definitely. You see, it's really very unfortunate that in today's Nigeria, virtually every aspect of our life has been politicized, including our children and the young ones. It was very pathetic. Yes, I agree with the IGP that minors can be in certain...
Can be jailed?
Yes, in certain situations. In certain situations. And in any case, let's start it this way. You see, we have child, you will have young children. You see, under the law, a child under the age of 12 is deemed unable to commit any crime. Yes, a child under that age is deemed unable to, so irrespective of whatever that child does or did not do.
The law doesn't see them as...
Yes, they are incapable of committing a crime. That is number one. Now, but when you get to the age of 14 to 16, you are a juvenile. You see, the law protects children, including juveniles. The law protects them. Now, yes, there are certain things, they have their own separate judicial system, juvenile justice system. They have their own, even under the general contract, under everything, under labor law, they are protected. There are certain employments a child, you cannot engage a child in. You cannot marry an underage child. Forget what they do in the north. The children, they are protected by the law. Now, even if they are taken to court of law, the best thing is, what is their best interest? And that is why, you see, when you are to try juveniles, you don't try them in regular courts. There's a special court for them. Even for, okay, the infrastructure is not there, you need to try them using the same courtroom as the adults. You try them on different days so that they just come in there and their own setting is just not like the regular court sitting. So in other words, the law protects our children and the juveniles, except of course when a young adult commits a crime with an adult, they can be tried together. Yes.
Was that the case of the recent incidents with those minors who were charged for treason and felony?
Well, you see, the political situation in Nigeria now, it makes it difficult for one to really decipher which one is which one and the other, because everything seems to be politicized. Well, look at the kind of charges they brought against them. Let me say this from the onset. The government said, yes, we know those who are behind.
The sponsors.
The sponsors. But at the end of the day, did they arrest the sponsors? For whatever reason, they went on the street and be picking those children. I'm not saying they are innocent, okay? But all I'm saying, in a sane society, you don't do such things. You go for their sponsors. And then even if you have to go for them, you take them to the juvenile justice system. But what did we have there? Bringing them all the way from Kano, Kaduna, and all the northern states to Abuja, treating them as if they are common criminals is very bad.
Let's talk about the juvenile justice system. What are those measures the law have put in place to curb criminal activities among young people?
It's a different thing now. The law hasn't done anything to curb. That is where I have issues with the current legal, whether it is the child rights law or the juvenile justice system. Because you see, the juvenile justice system, as separate as the law has tried to make it different from, but then it still operates within the same philosophy.
Okay.
Like the adults. I was privileged to do a research on this during my postgraduate. I did juvenile justice system for the 21st century. And I'm saying, come, you do not wait for the child to commit a crime before you. You should put things in place to prevent the child from committing a crime. So an ideal juvenile justice system should be one where things are put in place to prevent that child from committing that crime. And I'm sure if those juveniles, and if they had been in school, perhaps they would not have had the time to go onto the street too. Now, talking about the juvenile justice system the way they are, see, even if you cannot jail, you cannot keep a child in a prison.
It's against the law.
It's against the law. You cannot. They have their own correctional institutions. You have the Buster Home. Where you take them to? You dare not. Even if you are trying them with adults, you do not keep them in the correctional, in the prison, the way we have it. Whether we now name it correctional system or the conventional prisons, you know. And see, you try them, you don't convince, you don't inflict punishment. No. You are hardening them. Whether we like it or not, those people we saw, those people, the government, they say you have hardened them. How long have they been in prison? When were they arrested? How long have they been there?
3 months.
And 3 months in the life of a child is about 3 or more years. That's the truth.
All right. Looking at our topic today, the dilemma between balancing punishment and rehabilitation for minors. You've mentioned that it is not allowed to put these minors in prisons, they are correctional centers.
Yes.
But we know in recent times there are a lot of criminal cases that has over, you know, we read about this 16-year-old girl who had to poison about 5 persons to death. We don't know how true this story is, but you know, there are news about this person. And we do not know what the plans are for this particular 16-year-old who is not an adult yet.
Okay.
For such situation, now balancing punishment and rehabilitation for these people, which...
You see, the law will look at it this way, you know, for a 16-year-old thinking of doing such things, there may have been a lot of things that went underneath. Because these are juveniles. For a 16-year-old, you see, on the normal thing the law should do, come, you take the child, in fact, you don't keep in a regular prison, you take to a boarding house. And in any case, we have very stubborn children, very stubborn, that will do anything.
That could do anything.
Yes. Could commit any crime. Oh, fine, the law anticipates such situation. But what happens, you bring them, you arrest them, you take them to the Buster Home, and in the Buster Home, a lot of things goes there towards, you know, trying to make them better.
Can you share more light on those things that goes on in Buster Homes?
Well, of course, let me start even with our prison system. The way we have it, you go there are a lot of activities. Carpentry, sewing, or whatever the days, and even you go there sometimes, they play organized matches among the inmates and all that. You see, all those things are aimed at rehabilitating. I'm talking about the adults now. Now, children, yes, they bring them, you know, those things you ought to do with children in a normal home. Those things are there. All these, you see, all these elderly men, elderly women, go there, talk to them, counsel them, take them up on all these plays, activities, at least to make them feel like normal children before they are released back to the society. It happens in foster homes. As bad as our system appears to be, I know that those things still do take place. But then, what we have seen, what the whole world has seen, goes beyond. It's political. Beginning from even the circumstances leading to the protests and all that. And it's like the government wants to, okay, we'll show them. But then, the whole thing, whatever it is now, boomerang against the government. Come, this is not juveniles. Then for the president to say he has ordered, and I keep on saying, does he even have that kind of power? He doesn't. It's only the Attorney General, which they eventually did anyway, but the president could not have seemed to have uttered such a comment, that I will have ordered that they be. No, we are under the law. The president cannot order. It's the Attorney General. The Attorney General can wake up from a very bad dream and say, okay, I'm not going to prosecute, or I'm going to prosecute. Even against the orders of the president that appointed him. There's nothing anybody can do. There's not even the court can do. That's how powerful the Attorney General is when it comes to prosecution of criminal matters.
Let's go back to the cause of all of this. Before these minors were detained, you know, we saw videos of some of these minors flying a different country's flag, and which the court, you know, explained to be treasonable, trying to overthrow the current government. And you mentioned in your statement that there is no crime that's, according to the law doesn't recognize a child committing any crime.
No, a child
underage child.
Under 12.
Okay, under 12. So how are you able to prove that between,
let me say this. I do not swallow everything I see on the social media.
Okay.
We just have to be very, very careful.
I agree.
Because some of those things are manipulated. In fact, they can be manipulated. Because somebody to cause mischief. So we cannot rely so much on what we see on social media. Okay? But then the basic thing, for the government to react the way they reacted, I think the conscience of the government started pricking them. Okay, which means whatever it is that was on the social media was true. Okay, and it was very unfortunate.
What would you have advised for such case?
You see, even such cases, you don't give it publicity. When you are trying a child, and you don't give it publicity. You don't even name the child.
Why?
You have to protect. That's part of the protection. If I go and steal, you can say yes. Patrick Iwe is standing trial for stealing. Okay, but for a child, you cannot. For a juvenile, you cannot.
Is this not some sort of way of grooming a society where children are allowed to do whatever they want to?
No, it's a way of protecting the children. They are very gullible, yes, so they need that protection, both from the parental protection, the societal protection, and the governmental protection. And this is the aspect of the governmental protection. The children, they need that protection, and they have to be protected. Some of them do these things inadvertently. And, well, of course, you and I know what happens. Like this case, like I keep on saying, it was political. When the North were in power, all these demonstrations against fuel subsidy, the core happens in the South. Yes or no? But these other ones now, the South is in power, and the core took place in the North. Down here, it is the matured adults, even at the time, even led by the president himself. But then you cannot, we have to understand how these things operate. Down there, you see all these amajeris, or just give them, go and do this, and most of them may not even know.
All right, time is really over our side. We have to wrap up on the program today. Justice systems, dilemma, balancing punishment and rehabilitation for minors. We've been taking a bearing from the just freed minors that were detained in court, in prison a few months ago, which, by the way, they've been released by the orders of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Well, I want to say thank you for shedding more light on this topic. Unfortunately, we couldn't dwell more because of our time. We'll bring this topic your way next week, where we bring you more details and explanation on this, as we've been able to create a basis for this conversation today. I'll see you next week, God's willing. My name is Miriam Usman, and this program brings you the law and experts of the law and break the law down for you to know more. Bye for now.